Myself once more again. I am Nupur Kohli, or as I am called in the hospital, Dr. Kohli. And today I will be speaking about the International Day of Nonviolence, about Gandhi, and what relation does that actually have with modern day life. And the title of today is My Life is My Message. And that is one very important quote of Gandhiji. And I think I have to move this way to move forward with my presentation. I actually had a short introduction in my presentation. I didn't know you were introducing me, but I am a medical doctor. I'm an author of a book on stress and productivity. As you heard, I'm also an international speaker. In the past 3 years, I have spoken in several countries worldwide, have given over 30 speeches, and I won the TEDx award in Delft in 2012, so if you're interested, you can look up the talk. And with that comes also the needed media attention, so it has been quite a journey until now. So, to start the presentation of today, I want us to do a small exercise that will give you a bit more insight in violence and non-violence, and I would like you all to stand up. So I would like you all to stand up. Did everyone manage to stand up? So I want you to put one hand like this. And also put your other hand up like this. And keep standing like that for a while and look around you. How is everyone standing like that? And you can put your hands down and you can now sit. So if you think about how you stood there with your hands up, what kind of a posture is that? In what kind of situation would you put your hands up like this, and how did it feel? Can we go to the next slide? I don't know if you remember this picture. In March this year, this picture went viral on social media. This is a child from Syria. She is 4 years old. A photographer, I believe, either the One of Humans of New York, came to click her picture. And she put her hands up because she thought the camera was a weapon. This posture you just did is a posture of surrender. Surrender that takes place when you are in a war zone or when you feel danger. A place where violence takes place. Next slide, please. Oh, it's going too early. So I actually have the next exercise for you. I hope it didn't reveal too much, but I want you to stand up again. And again, feel a new, different posture. So I want you to keep one hand like this, and another hand like this, and then look to your side. Again, feel how that feels. And you may sit down. So, we think that non-violence only has something to do with war zones and everything you hear about Gandhi and Iraq, Syria, Vietnam, whatever has happened. The posture you just did is a posture of defense. What do you do if someone comes up to you and attacks you? You put your hands up just in the way you did a few moments before. And I think we should keep in mind that non-violence is much more than only the things you see in the media. So what is violence actually? If you put it in a word cloud, violence is abusive, it's injustice, it's destruction. It can be contagious, it can be intimidating, it can be hurtful. There's also defense. It can be irrational. It can be manipulative. It can be ineffective. There are so many words associated with violence. And violence affects many people all over the world in many different ways. And that is why it was very important that there came something that made people realize that this is something not natural, that should not be there. So for that, we had a person, many years ago, Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, non-violence is a weapon of the strong. Non-violence is advancing its spirituality, and it can create a social transformation. So in the minutes I have left, I want to go with you through 3 different quotes I have selected from Mahatma Gandhi. And what does that mean to me? And also, what does that mean for daily life? And what has it meant for Mahatma Gandhi himself in his life? The first quote I have selected is, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." There are many situations in our daily lives that we fight about very small things. Either it is someone who is taking our parking spot, or it is, if we have another example on the road, someone who is bothering you, driving too close to your car. When it's in your classroom, is that one student who is not nice to you. There are many situations that we think, I can never ever forgive that person. And I believe we should realize that forgiveness is actually something very strong. And how did that play a role in the life of Mahatma Gandhi? Gandhiji has been in prison for many years. And one of the remarkable things he did, and with him also another great person, Nelson Mandela from South Africa, is that when he came out of prison, he forgave his enemies, and he was kind to his enemies. And I believe that is something we should take with us, that no matter in what awful and terrible situation you have been, that forgiveness can be there. I was not trying to read it. And even in my own situations, as you said, I am a doctor. I have been in my own rotations. I have been in situations that my supervisor screamed at me and said the most terrible things to me. And still in such situations, if you have to show respect to someone, it's not very easy. You have to be very strong for that. Yes, thanks. The second quote I have selected is, "Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will." We always think that if we have to do something, either it is making an exam, or you decide to set up a charity or a foundation, or even if you are organizing something like this today, a great event like this, we will think at first, okay, but this is not in my physical capacity. How on earth will I do this? And many times we are much stronger in our minds than we believe we really are. And how did Gandhiji do this? He created a change in a whole nation only with his will. Nobody could have believed that with non-violence he could get so many people together who would be with him, who would lead the country to freedom. And even he had many people who were against him that even joined him because of so much admiration for his will. And I think that is also something great we have to keep in mind. The third quote I selected is, "In a gentle way, you can shape the world." It might seem that it is similar to the second quote, but it is not like that. Sometimes there are people who think if they want to achieve something in life, you have to cheat, you have to lie. You cannot do that with kindness. You cannot do that only with being a good person. If you want to do something in life, you have to have friends who have money, who have power, and that is it. And for me, this quote means that even with kindness, with being just a person who you are, you can also gently shake the world. And Mahatma Gandhi did this in his own way as well. Not everyone agreed with what he said, but he always stayed himself and believed that in a gentle way, he could also shake the world. And that is certainly what he has done. I have a small anecdote left for the end, but before that, now you have listened to these 3 quotes. I want you to just take one moment and think of what message you could take from the words you heard today. I will give you a few seconds, and then I will end with an anecdote. So this morning, I have been to more functions today on the International Day of Nonviolence. This morning, I was in the Palace of Justice in The Hague, where there were many dignitaries and also many country officials. And I spoke this morning with the former Prime Minister of Slovenia, and he and together with the ambassador of South Africa, they both had a great message. And what they told us in their speech was, if you take one stick, it's very easy to just break one stick. But grab a second stick and a third stick, and after a while you will have a bunch of sticks. It is very difficult to break a bunch of sticks. So, non-violence to me, to conclude, is unity. Because a bunch of sticks is hard to break, and unity is hard to break. So if we have unity in non-violence, I believe with the coming years to come, when we remember Gandhiji and his lessons, we have much more great work to do. And that's my message for today.